Hi guys, my goodness, look at that. Okay, there we go. Better lighting. Today I want to make the little gift bag or box that you just saw in the thumbnail. It is a lot of scoring, might be a little tricky, and I totally got it from Hunkydory, so this is not something I came up with. There's no way in a million years I would have come up with this. But I will link in the description box the video, the tutorial where I found it like a year ago, and then it's just something I've been thinking about doing and I haven't gotten around to it, so we're doing it today. I don't have any kind of affiliate relationship with Hunkydory. They have their own thing. They're based out of the UK. You can definitely order from them. They used to have free shipping over a certain amount to the US, but now they don't have that. It's basically $19. So if you want to get their free gift, just know you're paying $19 for it to get shipped, regardless if you buy other things. So that's kind of a bummer. But I do find their things on Craft Stash and Ecstasy Crafts and HSN. With Ecstasy Crafts, I do have a 10% discount code for you guys. So just check those out. Those will be affiliate links in the description box, which means I'll make a small commission if you use those links. Again, with Ecstasy Crafts, you do get 10% off, and they are based, I think, in Canada actually, but they do have a warehouse in New York, so they ship, and it's basically US pricing as far as shipping. If I believe they have a free shipping over a certain amount also. And like I said, HSN Craft Stash is out of the UK, but they do have a free shipping policy also for the US. I don't know what happened with Hunkydory. Oh well, too bad. But this is actually a free gift from like last year, so it doesn't matter what you have, guys. You don't have to use this cardstock either. Just use what you have in your stash. Of course, a nice heavyweight cardstock always makes a nicer box. This stuff is pretty heavyweight. It's like 350 GSM. Yeah, 350 GSM. Apparently, I don't think I have the cardstock that goes with this, or at least I didn't find it. I just grabbed some stuff from my stash, to be honest. I would want to make this from any papers. It doesn't matter, but I did get some Hunkydory stuff. I don't think I need this matte or this foil one, so I'm gonna put that to the side. I just had that because when I brought it out together, I was like, what am I gonna do with this today? We're going to use this cute topper set. Now they have all kinds of toppers. They have the Whopper topper pads and topper sheet sets and card sets and all these different things. So I'm going to use possibly these to decorate with. We will see. I haven't really opened this up, but I guess we can take a quick peek. Again, like I said, it's not really about this stuff. You can just matte layers whatever you have that you wanted to use, coordinating cardstock with your base. But these little guys will be but are going to help me decorate pretty much. But how cute are these? I mean, this is their furry friends. I don't know if they come out with this separately. A lot of times when it's their free gift, they never come back with it as a design, but you might have seen these little characters, right? So maybe something you can pick up later. I mean, these are gorgeous papers. I love these. I want to do more with it, guys. I will definitely try and do that for you guys. These images really remind me of a lot of images from like the UK or very European things, right? They seem to come up a lot. I did place an order recently with Hunkydory, so they usually ship pretty fast, and it usually comes in within a week. So I guess that's a perk there with that pricing. But I haven't ordered in like a year, so we will see. I will let you know. But there it is. And then I highly encourage, if you like this kind of thing, to watch their videos. They spend an hour, 2 hours, like every day, making 2, 3, 4 cards or projects, and they're usually elaborate and huge. That's the other thing. I try to take their techniques and then make a smaller card, because in the US we usually do 5x7s, maybe a 6-inch card. I know a lot of people don't like to send those because they cost more, A2 size. So I try to take their techniques but then shrink it down. I think today we're going to use some papers from this because I just saw this one and I thought, oh, some of these colors really do coordinate back to what's going on there. It's from the Festive Splendor Adorable Scoreable papers, and these are very much Christmas. I mean, look how deep those are. I'm probably going to use this light one. That's the one I saw on top, and I thought it was the For Your Friends paper, and I was like, oh, actually it's not. So, I'm going to use this guy. I have everything written down. Hopefully I'm going to do this correctly, because it is a little tricky, and then we'll decorate. So let's put this to the side right now. We are going to focus on this. So these are A4 size papers. That doesn't matter. We're going to cut it down. I even have like a little dent washing towels, and I put too many, because I can hear them. The washer is struggling. Anyway, I was going to say I'm going to cut this part away because obviously I have this little imperfection that I don't want in my project, and actually it might even blend away, like you wouldn't even notice it. But I do have notes here because it is going to be a little bit, I don't want to say tricky, but it's quite a bit. Okay, so let's open up our cutting tool trimmer or cutting tool, whatever it is you're using. You want to get this guy to 7 3/4 by 10 3/4. So on this long side, I'm going to cut it at 10 3/4. And you know I love a project. This also has a little dent, so hopefully I can cut this away and cut this away. Where, let's say 10 3/4, where I use my trimmer like the whole time because I love like making apertures. I mean, there's so many things I have rolling around in my head that we need to get to. So anyway, 10 3/4. You can say that little strip for something else or toss it. And 7 3/4 on the other side. 7 3/4 on the other side. What's so funny is, like, as they were doing the tutorial, you know, I'm like writing things down. I'm like, oh, that must be how when people come over here. And honestly, I could use this for the, well, maybe I will. I was going to transfer over to the scoreboard. Now, what's nice about a scoreboard is that it's going to be perfect. You know, right now, if I use this, I'm just going to go here, and then hopefully I did that right, and hopefully I did, you know. So I'm going to transfer to a scoreboard only because there's a ton of score on this one, but you know, you can just continue working on this guy. It's no big deal. Let's see here. I'm going to use the bigger scoreboard. Oh, and look at, there's a little die cut leaf there waiting for me for some reason. A little piece of that. Okay. But you can definitely do this on your trimmer. If you like to use, you know, your scoring tool in there, go for it. I'm going to butt this up all the way to this edge. And to be honest, I'd rather score on the opposite side of this, but that's okay. Just because I feel like if you push into this, you know what? Okay, that's fine. I usually score and then I fold on that same side. Does that make sense? Like if I have to fold it back, I'll fold it back on this side. But a little bit scary, but that's okay. So, all right, on the long side, 3/4. So 3/4. And just give it a couple of nicks because this is some thick stuff and it's easier to do a few instead of one harsh one. So 3/4, 1 3/4, 1 3/4. Okay, then 3 1/4, 3 1/4. And just like I wrote it down, you're gonna have to write it down, guys. 3 1/4, 4 1/4. And essentially what you're doing is you have 1 inch spots and I think 1.5 inch spots or something like that. Yeah. So anyway, so 3/4, 1 3/4, 3 1/4, 4 1/4, 5 3/4. So 5 3/4. And then we have 6 3/4. So an inch from there, right? 6 3/4. 8 1/4. And 9 1/4. Okay. All right. So you have a little piece at the beginning that was only 3/4, but then from there it's an inch and a half, an inch, inch and a half, inch and a half, inch and a half, essentially. And then we're going to turn this and on this long side, sorry, just in my mind, I'm trying to see if it matters. See how we have that little 3/4 inch piece? I was trying to see if it matters where we're putting our lines, but let's just put it this way, okay? Do it the way I'm doing. On this side, we're going to do 1.5 inches, 3, and then 5 3/4. So, 1.5, 1.5, 3, and then 5 3/4. So 5 3/4. And you know, I would think, well, what if we put it down a little bit further? They did the math that when you cut this and put it together, all these things are going to touch and everything's great. So you make the shape that you need. So I wouldn't mess with it. Again, on this side, 1.5, 3, and 5 3/4. So you have this little space that's really going to be holding your treats up to here. This we're going to trim out, well, not really trim away, but we're going to stick this down at the bottom, so you'll see. So, a little scary, I know. I'm going to put this up. I think we're done scoring. I can't believe that still had its scoring tool with it. I usually put them to the side and then never put them back on. Okay. Now we're going to take our scissors. Again, you know, if you want to do this on your trimmer, you could cut there. But you're basically going to cut every single one of these lines right up to the score line. So, just careful, you know. Right up to that score line. on each one of these, and of course, emergency vehicle is going to pass by. Why wouldn't it? You guys, I live right off the freeway. Kind of, not right off. But there is a firehouse here, and there are hospitals near here, so I get all the business. All right, so we're gonna go up to here, and I'm trying to do it at once because, you know, I want it to look as nice as I can, but there you go. And to here, and then the very last one we are going to notch away because you're not going to need it. If you remember 1, 1.5, 1, 1.5, all that. This guy is that 3/4 inch piece, so we're going to go like this, and then just notch it away over here. Okay, a little bit scary. I want to make sure I'm doing everything correctly for you guys. Now on this opposite side, we're also going to cut every single one of these little score lines right to that first score line, right? So, I mean, we can start over here, I guess. And so I'm just going to go in here, and just go up this whole thing right to the score lines. I'll be right back. So just, again, right up to the score line on each of the score lines you made here. So now we're going to fold these, just the squares. So if you look at this, there's squares, there's rectangle, square, rectangle, square, rectangle, right? So these are like essentially 1.5 inch squares. You're just going to fold those away, forward or back, whichever way you want. You just want to get rid of them because we're going to cut away all these other pieces. So if it's easier for you to come in here, we're going to cut right on that score line and get rid of this guy. Okay, get rid of this guy. This is scary, you guys. Kind of doing this from memory, other than having the score lines written down and a few little notes. And I'm pretty sure we're just going to get rid of both of these. So if I'm incorrect, oh well. So there you go. Okay, so now you have these guys. We're going to do a little bit more here. Actually, I still need my scoring tool, I suppose. What we're going to do on this one, and I suppose you can do it with a ruler, you're going to need a ruler anyway, is bring this up here, and on each of these guys, these are 1 inch spaces, right? 1 inch spaces, sorry, this right above that score line. So bring it over here, get that folded in a way, and give yourself a little mark where it's 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch there. On this one, the 1/2 inch is going to be like at the 3. This one, just give yourself a little mark at the 1/2 inch. Okay, so essentially you have those marks. Okay guys, sorry my son came down and I took a little pause. So what we're going to do now, we have those little marks at the 1/2 inch. I've done this before whenever I made like envelopes from scratch. If you really want them to be really nice and, you know, I don't know, a little more nuanced, we're just going to make our own little diagonal lines in these little sections. Okay, this. So where we made that mark, you're just going to go to the next meet up of these score lines here. So from that mark to where these meet up, you're just going to take a scoring tool or something like that. Actually, well, let's see. I think the scoring tool could do it, to be honest, but they were using a stylus, and I'm like, do I really want to switch things out? I think on this one I have a pointy edge, and I have this guy. Like, that's so funny. I don't know why. I can only find like my big Crafter's Companion ones, which is funny because whenever Sarah talks about these, she says she has big balls. So there you go. And that's all I can find. Okay, well, all right. I'm just going to use a pointier scoring tool and just give yourself a good push. You know, you really want that scored, right? So from there to there, and then do the same thing from that 1/2 inch to the meet up of those score lines. Okay, so hopefully you can see we have that. Okay, and I'll just continue doing that in each one of these little rectangle areas across. So here, here, and here. Okay, I'll be right back. Finishing the one down on this side. So we have our own little spaces all there. Okay, so now we're just going to score everything. Basically everything's going to come in on this side. We're going to fold all these guys in. Oh, not like that. Nice and straight. I don't know why I folded that one, kind of funky. Maybe a little scoring tool, a little bone folder, should I say, to help you so it's nice and crisp. Why am I so close? Oh, I was showing you guys how to... I was like, this is not where I want to be. Okay. And then we have those guys. You know, all of these guys can kind of fold in. These guys, when you get here, now you're going to want this to fold back like that. So, just like that. I think it's easier to do it when you get there. You can do it ahead of time, but I feel like once you've gotten there and you're scoring, like it's easier to get that. So let me go ahead and just score all the big lines on these guys, and then we'll do that a little bit. You guys know I'm serious when I'm using a bone folder. I usually just leave it to luck there. I don't think I used one at the beginning, but that's okay. Alright, with these guys, we're just kind of pushing them in like that. Right? It's going to kind of go in when we actually put this guy together. So just get those trained up. This paper is very sensitive, I will say. Like, even my nail, it barely touched it right there. You can see that, so just be careful. I do want to say, you saw that scoring and it didn't crack or anything, and that's the whole thing about adorable scoreable paper, is that it doesn't crack, at least it shouldn't. So, these two guys, I just kind of close that up, are going to go like this. Now, if you want to make it more nuanced up here, just like at the bottom, you can definitely trim a little bit away there, but you don't have to. Let's go ahead and just... Now, they use scoring... Not scoring, what's it called? The double-sided sticky red liner tape, because I think sometimes this paper will react when you use a wet glue. So I guess I will also... Oh man, I don't know. I haven't worked with this in a long time, and I remember that, because usually when I do use glue, you'll be able to see it. We are going to matte layer here, though, so maybe it's not the biggest deal. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this. Now, I feel like when this is together, is that going to be okay? We're going to fold in. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe these should be two separate pieces to be a little more nuanced. I think I might do that. And I know I know they didn't do that, but I feel like we should give it a little bit more. Something like that. Okay, so I am going to put a little glue, and I'm not going to put too much, but just a little glue. I feel like it is quite obvious when you use wet glue with this paper. So I'm going to hold that closed. Basically those two tabs, you know. I mean, you can do it in the air if that's what you prefer, but you can also just lay it down because it's symmetrical, or at least it should be. All right, let's let those come together, and then we're going to work on this bottom part, which is very interesting. Also, we do need to pop holes in this, and maybe you want to pop the holes in this when it's flat. Maybe you want to put the glue on this when it's flat. So there's different things to think about. You're going to put this guy together, and it's going to come in, and you're going to want to have holes here. But I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers, or yeah, I guess my Crocodile. You know, maybe if you have like a little system to make holes, you're going to want to do it right now before we put this whole thing together, even while it was flat. Again, maybe you want to put glue on here before. But I'm going to let that really set up because I am using a white glue and I don't want it to pop open when I go to do this other stuff. So I will be right back. So I am doing something a little bit different than how they did theirs. Before I start putting all that together, I'm going to go ahead and make my hole here. If this is a 1.5 inch square and you want it right in the center, you're going to want 3/4 inches in, right? So this is already set to half. This is the larger hole. I'm just going to use that. So if that's already at half, I'm going to go 3/4. That's about there. And I'm just going to eyeball this to what is center. Again, we could have done this before we popped this in here, which might have been a better idea. But I'm super eyeballing where my midline is. I know it's already at 3/4, which is great, but left to right, I'm just kind of eyeballing. Okay, and I'm going to go around and do that with the whole thing. Because, I mean, obviously that's going to help you get a pretty good idea of where this all should be. But if it was easier for you while it's flat, then do it then. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Again, all eyeballed, and I feel like that's going to be okay. Alright, on this side, how they did it is they put these guys together, these large pieces, one with the other, and then they put the smaller pieces on top after that, and I thought it looks kind of busy. I feel like maybe the large pieces should go on the outside, no? I mean, obviously we're going to line these up. Let me see what that looks like. just because they're bigger and they're going to cover up these little bits, you know. So let's see what that might look like. If it looks a little cleaner, I'll do it that way. I mean, either way, I guess. I don't know. For me, I feel like to have these bigger pieces on the outside looks neater, but maybe it doesn't, huh? I don't know. Alright, there's a reason why they said to do it the way they did it. I did bend this one, and I told you this paper is very sensitive, so where I made that little bend, you can definitely see that. But oh well. Okay, so let's kind of mess with this a little bit. Basically what you want is these two to meet up, and then these two to meet up. And then bring in the rest of them. And of course the shape needs to like keep its shape, right? So they did use liner tape for this. I feel like I'm just going to be patient and wait for this glue to set up. So I'm going to put some glue down right here. And kind of keep the shape nice, paying attention to how it's looking. You know. So it'll be a little more something like that. That one needs to go that way a little bit. I'm looking at the shape that I'm left with in here, and that's not too bad, so I think that's gonna be okay. So I'm gonna hold that for a little bit. And guys, this is handmade. What are you gonna do, you know? So again, that shape there. And I'll probably let it go before I really think that it's all set up, and I might just have these guys, actually, let's go in. Let's bring these guys in. So I can leave this flat down. There we go. So hopefully you can kind of see this shape. It's kind of an octagon. I'm going to squeeze it a little bit. I'm squeezing it, and I don't know if you saw how it kind of released. Just to get a nicer shape. Okay. And they didn't do this, but I think if you're going to do this, you might as well have some glue so everything stays really well, right? So we have that. I put some glue here, because I know this piece is going to come down. And just keep a nice shape. Minding our shape. You think these would be... There we go. Okay, I'm going to hold that. And I'm going to leave that for just a minute, and I'm going to come back, and we'll finish off with these guys. And while this glue is still a little bit wet, I'm just going to continue on, because it feels like this is just such an interesting shape. I want to make sure that I get everything. So like these two guys to meet up while this is still a little bit flexible, because they should theoretically meet up, you know. So let's see. This is not as easy as it looked. Okay, there we go. There we go. So I just had to make some adjustments. Again, I'm using a wet glue, and that's kind of why I'm working with it now, because I want to make sure that I can make the adjustments as needed. And then these two, see how they don't quite meet up? So obviously I need to squeeze this some other way to make that work. There we go. Okay, and let's just finish that off. Okay, I'm just going to hold that together, and then we're going to finish off the top. I know it might be hard to see with my lighting, but you're just basically stacking everything, two pairs. And that's as good as it's going to get, because again, handmade, what are you going to do? Okay, I'll be right back. A couple, I don't know, maybe a minute or so. I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to open this up. I know there's one panel that's not my favorite, so I'm going to try to kind of push that back out and see if that'll work for me. It's this one right here. I feel like this one needs to be pushed out a little bit. Now hold it there. Alright guys, I'll be back. I will say they made it seem very easy. That was the trickiest part, okay? I did use a wet glue. If you want to work kind of fast so that you can make adjustments, that's perfect. All I had to do was push that panel back out this way, because it was pushed in too much and it was almost tearing. As I pushed it out this way, that worked out better. Okay, I am going to let that set up though. I'm going to grab some, like a nice coordinating ribbon, and I'll be right back. So hopefully that's set up. One thing I will say, it was kind of odd, is they used ribbon, and I thought, oh yeah, like a little, you can probably tie it like that and just have a little loop at the top, but they tied it in a bow. So I am going to, this is organza, and it's probably like 3/4 inch organza. I'm gonna leave myself a good amount, and basically I'm gonna cut this in half, which is also odd. Like I said, I thought maybe they would just leave a little loop, but I'm going to take these ends. I don't know if I'm going to use all of it, but I'm going to go ahead and singe them because I don't want that coming apart. all of them. And we're just gonna make a knot and then make a bow at the top. Hey, you saw it. Okay, I'm gonna singe both of these ends. I'll be right back. So basically they just tied two of these together. I'm gonna tie the ones that look not as good. These two. To make a knot that's gonna like anchor this. Very interesting. Ah. Okay, there we go. And mine needs to be a little bit big because I did use that bigger hole. And basically we're going to take both these guys and pop them through one of these. Right. And then these guys we kind of already scored, but not too well. But anyway, like I didn't really super score them. But there you go. Did I even bend that? Did I not bend these in? That second row, I hadn't bent it yet, so just know that should be bent. Oh my gosh, silly girl. Gonna make it that much harder to put together. This second row, sorry guys. You know, just going off the top of my head, and I just remembered that I did not score that. Okay. And then wherever you want to go from here, if you want to go to the one opposite or the one next to it, or however, I guess. Also singeing those ends helps out with that somewhat. I should have kept those guys together. Let's bring that back out. Let's keep these guys together. Oh, I'm so bummed that I didn't score that second set. Sorry, guys. So score all of your score lines, of course. Of course. Okay, going in here. They're going to want to come in because of the score line not being scored, but that's okay. We will get them there. We will get them there. Bummer. Oh, okay, there. Hey, okay, all right. Maybe. All right, and then over here. Oh, that is so funny. And it works. It's very cute. Okay. Again, a little more difficult for me because I didn't score everything, but there you go. Okay. Cute. Oh my gosh. It gives it more of a rounded shape, but you definitely want to score that. And then you make a bow. And that's what holds it all together. Is that crazy? That is adorable. Score all your score lines. Now we know. How cute is that? Obviously, I can make that a little nicer. But adorable. You guys, that's not bad. Okay, so we can decorate these little panels, which just reminds me, I'm gonna go grab I know I have the little like pattern paper that goes along with this kit. So let me give you some measurements. We know that these, you know, some of them are 1 inch and some of them are 1.5 inch, right? So like that's almost 1 inch, and then 1.5. So if you want a matte layer, and then these squares are 1.5 inch squares. So I'm gonna make squares that are 1 3/8 inches square, 7/8 by, let's see how tall these are. Ooh, it's a little tricky. It's like 2 3/4, I would say. So I would say 2 5/8. So 7/8 by 2 5/8. 1 3/8 by 2 5/8, right, to go in here. And then these guys will be 1 3/8 inch squares. But let me go get the paper and we'll do that again. Okay, guys. So y'all, I know I have the papers that go with that. I don't know where they are. So I found this one, Little Meadow Mice, which is super cute. So I figured might as well use this. Excuse me. And it is so cute. Oh my gosh. Just the prettiest papers. I don't really know what coordinates with what we have going on over there. Let's use this one. And so the height on these bottom ones are going to be the same, right? We said 2 3/4, and I was going to cut it at 2 5/8 for a matte layer. These are all going to be the same height, but different widths. And then these guys are going to be 1 3/8 inch squares. So I'm just going to take this and cut it at the 2 5/8 inch height. And then I'll cut pieces away from that. Oh, this paper is so cute. It's so hard to cut into Hunkydory paper because it is just adorable. Okay. So again, if it was 2 3/4, I'm doing 2 5/8 because I want that kind of layering. And then maybe I'll have some at the end of that for the other pieces, but I'm going to go ahead and cut the squares. Actually, maybe I should cut it from here. How deep is that? I need 6 inches. That might be okay. Let's think. That might work for me. We'll see. Okay, let's cut it this way. At 1 3/8. And then I need some squares that are 1 3/8, so I'm just going to cut 4 squares, okay? I'll be right back. Yeah, so that worked out. The math on that worked, because I was like, I think if I need at least even a little bit less than 6 inches would be okay. So we have those. And I can take these guys and go ahead and just glue them down. I don't really care what direction they are in. They are kind of like scattered little flowers. So I'm just going to stick these guys wherever. So in each one of these squares, I will adhere these little guys there and there. Okay, I just put the last little piece down. So cute. Again, just make sure to score these. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I didn't score that second row of score lines there. And then, you know, we have 4 sides that are going to be 7/8 inch cuts, and then we have 4 sides that are going to be 1 3/8 inch cuts. And you know, if you wanted to continue, let's say you had a pattern, I would definitely go 7/8, 1 3/8, 7/8, 1 3/8, but I don't care about that. So I'm just going to cut. I mean, it would look nicer, right, if it continues, but I don't think it's the biggest deal here. So 7/8. I'm going to cut. Oopsie. 4 strips that are 7/8, and then 4 strips that are 1 3/8. Right, they're already 2 5/8 inches tall. I'll be back. And one last 1 3/8. And again, you could have matte layered these while it was still all flat if that's what you prefer. So I'm just going to take these guys and one at a time pop these on. Cute. Again, it's hard to tell. It looks like some are up and then some might be going down this way. I don't know if it has a direction. But on this one we will put this guy. And then on these guys will adhere these smaller ones, right? All around. Okay guys, I mean, look how pretty it is once you put in a little more detail even. Super cute. So yeah, I mean, it's an octagonal shaped gift box. I mean, made by hand. I think we're doing a pretty good job. Do not forget your score. I'm going to repeat that over and over. And let's see here. I'm going to bring those cuties back. And some of these fit in here nicer than others, like the little pieces, you know. So I want to say they had developed it for this one. Possibly. It has little tags here. It has these guys. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's a gift box, right? So even if it sticks out the sides a little bit. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at this. How about sending hedgehogs? How about this little guy? Because a gift box, it's not really. And then maybe for a lovely friend. How about that? And this. And you can definitely even cut these little strips to make something cute, you know, to keep decorating with. Okay, let's do that. Also because that brings the purple back in since I have purple up here. And, I mean, I don't know, wherever you want to place it, whatever side looks best to you. I would say, if I'm going to put it here, I'm probably going to redo this and make it so that this guy's on top, you know what I'm saying, since this piece is facing out. But it's not that big a deal. Okay, so let's put that guy there with some dimensionals. Dimensionals down the center for sure. Those will touch. And then possibly, I don't know if I'm going to put the tag. I know they put little characters on like one side and the other, so there's 2 sides to it. I'm just putting everything here. Cute. Oh my gosh. Put that little guy a little bit further down. There we go. Cute. So hopefully I didn't go too quickly. I feel like, you know, oh my goodness. Maybe I should put the for a lovely friend on the back? I don't know. I feel like it has to be straight and centered just like this other one was, which is not what I wanted, but oh, hold on. Let's see. I'm gonna see if maybe we add another little guy. It might. So let's put this one down and then pop up that little guy. I don't know. I try to go kind of slower with the numbers and everything. Oh, and it'd be cute since we have this little T, maybe to put some little T in there or something. I would probably put a lower profile just so it's different from this one, but that's okay. Yeah, for a lovely friend. Yeah, and they always do random stuff like that. Actually, I can put it, oh my gosh, how about down here? That's even cuter. Okay, so I'm going to double that up. Sorry, guys. I'm just changing things out. I'm doubling this guy up so it's touching that piece, but also down here. That is cute. Okay. It's a gift box, so you can make it however high, right, that you need it to be. So there it is. Yeah, really fun. I mean, it's something different. I like making things like this by hand. This one was a little more complicated. It's 3 1/4 inches in this direction. And I mean, it's a nice size box. It's like 4 1/4 inches tall, so it'll hold lots of treats. I mean, how fun. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Again, I'll link their video. I believe, you know, you can go through their hour or 2 hours, whatever it was. You'll find the project in there. And hope you try it out, and that'll be really fun. All right, guys. See you at the next one. Bye now.